Hello everyone. So today we are going to do the revision of module 3, that is the chapter which we have discussed in the beginning. Module 3, it is regarding the feedback amplifiers and the power amplifiers. So the very first topic we have studied is general structure of feedback, right? So this is a particular picture which shows us the general structure of feedback amplifier. So this is nothing but a signal flow diagram, like how the signal flows from source to load, and what is the feedback loop, and what are the different quantities, like here the quantities x, which represents the voltage or the current. So here initially source, this signal from this source, that is xs, either voltage or the current source, which is fed to the mixer or the adder summer. So the one more input to this is xf, which is nothing but the feedback signal. Feedback signal is nothing but part of output which will be given as the feedback uh, at the input side. So this will be combined with your input signal, actual input signal, and the adder which is going to produce some signal xi, right? So the xi is nothing but xs minus xf, and this is nothing but the open loop amplifier, and this is a beta factor, feedback factor. So output of which will give us the output, that is x naught, in terms of voltage or the current, and that will be given to the load. This is the general structure. So this is a very important question actually, that is discuss the general structure of the feedback amplifier. So the open loop amplifier, as I told, it has a gain A, and thus its output x naught is related to the input by x naught is equals to A into xi, and see here x naught is nothing but A into xi, and what is xf? Xf is nothing but beta into x naught, beta into x naught, and then xi, uh, xi, it can be written as, see what is xi, it is xs minus xf. Okay, so and then how we can calculate the gain of the feedback amplifier? It is like x naught divided by xs, because x naught is the input divided by xs. So if you substitute here, um, xi, what is x naught is equals to A into xi, right? Xi is nothing but xs minus xf. Xf also you write in terms of x naught. So all the equations will be in terms of x naught or xs. Okay, so AF gain is nothing but, see here, gain is nothing but gain of the entire feedback amplifier, which is nothing but output by input. What is output here? X naught. What is input? Xs, right? So x naught divided by xs, which will give us the equation A divided by 1 plus A into beta, where A is the open loop gain and beta is the feedback factor. So the quantity, this A into beta, which is called loop gain. Okay, so for the feedback to be negative, the loop gain A beta, it should be positive. That is, the feedback signal xf should have the same sign as xs, thus resulting in a small difference signal xi. So xi is nothing but actually the error signal. So it should be less as much as possible. Okay, so this 1 plus A into beta, which is called the amount of feedback. Initially, see, if we don't have the feedback signal, we will be getting x naught is equals to A into xs, means A is open loop gain, that into input signal, which will give us the output. But because of the feedback factor, your gain, it decreases, 1 plus A into beta. So this is called amount of feedback. So the gain, it is decreased by the factor 1 plus A into beta. This is called amount of feedback. Okay, so the gain of the feedback amplifier is almost entirely determined by the feedback network. That is what they are telling. Gain of the feedback amplifier depends upon the feedback network. Since the feedback network usually consists of passive components, which usually can be chosen to be as accurate as one wishes, the advantage of the negative feedback in obtaining accurate, predictable and stable gain should be apparent. So this is what the first question. Okay, so next is this is also very important, that is the properties of negative feedback. Here many properties of feedback it has been mentioned, but here they have discussed only four out of many properties. First one is gain desensitivity, very important. What do you mean by gain desensitivity? That you have to explain first. So the sensitivity reduction property can be analytically established as follows. So here directly they have given the formulas, like what is DAF, change in what AF, that is gain of the feedback amplifier. It is going to be changed by the factor 1 divided by 1 plus A into beta. Okay, so in detail you need to explain this. So gain desensitivity. So after obtaining this equation, so what we can conclude is, we can say that change in the gain with the feedback is less than change in the gain without feedback by the factor 1 plus A into beta. See, this A, dA by A is nothing but change in the change of the open loop amplifier. This is a change of the closed loop amplifier. So closed loop amplifier, the gain, change in the gain of the closed loop amplifier, it is going to be decreased by the factor 1 plus A into beta. Okay, so the fractional change in the amplification with the feedback divided by the fractional change without feedback is called the sensitivity of the gain. So the reciprocal of that is nothing but the desensitivity. That is why gain desensitivity, the name is given. Therefore, stability of the amplifier increases with the increase in the desensitivity. This is very important. The last sentence is very important. Stability of the amplifier increases when the increase in the desensitivity. Next is a bandwidth extension. How, whenever there is a feedback, the bandwidth, it is going to be extended. So how it is going to be extended, that has been explained over here. That is by considering the open loop bandwidth and then considering the closed loop bandwidth. How it is going to be extended. See, this is for the open loop amplifier. This is what the graph we are going to get. That is this graph. That is the frequencies FL and FH. Whereas EF, LF and FHF means your gain, it is going to be decreased by some factor. So because of that gain reduction, your bandwidth, it is going to be extended from FL to FLF and FH to FHF. Okay, so FLF, how it is going to be extended by the factor 1 divided by 1 plus AM into beta. Here it is into, because here this is been lessened, whereas here it has been increased. Here it has been decreased, here it has been increased. So it is into here, and this will be 1 divided by. So what is it? AMF, which is nothing but AM divided by 1 plus AM into beta. Next is the interference reduction, that is signal to noise ratio. First you need to calculate, and then what is S by I, you are going to calculate. Signal to interference ratio you are going to calculate, and how it is going to affect the entire system, that you are going to explain. Next is the reduction in the nonlinear distortion. So the whatever the when the feedback amplifier starts working, there will be a distortion, non-linear distortion. So when we use the feedback, what happens is there will be a reduction in the non-linear distortion. That is going with the help of this graph they have been explained. Next, yeah, this topic is also very much important. They will ask this question for about 10 to 12 marks. The four basic feedback topologies. So based on the quality to be amplified, that is quantity to be amplified, that is either voltage or current on the desired form of the output, that is voltage or current. Amplifiers can be classified into four different categories, that is voltage amplifier, current amplifier, transconductance amplifier, transresistance amplifier. Voltage amplifier means input and output to the circuit. Output from the circuit, it will be in terms of voltage. Current amplifier means input output in terms of current. Transconductance means input, it is in terms of voltage, and output in terms of current. Transresistance is ulta, that is input is current, output is voltage. So let us see first the voltage amplifiers. You can see here voltage amplifier. both the side it is in terms of voltage. Input is Vs input voltage, output voltage V naught. Okay, so the voltage amplifiers are intended to amplify the input voltage signal and provide an output voltage signal. So you are going to explain this particular circuit, the block diagram, that is basic voltage amplifier, open loop amplifier, and this is a feedback network. And what is VF? It is a feedback voltage. And what is the input to this? What is the output from the basic voltage amplifier? All these things. Next is a current amplifier. Current amplifier, you can note here. See, it is nowhere it is mentioned V. Everywhere it is mentioned I. Current amplifier. So IS, input current, output current, feedback current, how that flows, output current, how it flows to the feedback network. All this representation in the circuit diagram, block diagram, the quantities are very important. Whenever we say current amplifier, you should mention current. Whenever voltage amplifier, all in terms of voltage. Next is the transconductance. As I told, transconductance, input is voltage, output is current, right? So the input side Vs, Vf, and output is current, I naught. Okay. So this is called voltage mixing, current sampling. Voltage we are going to mix it over here. From there we are going to get the current, right? So it is voltage mixing, current sampling topology. Series feedback. Series feedback it is. Next is current mixing, voltage sampling, trans resistance. Input is in terms of current, output in terms of voltage. See here, IF, IS in terms of current. So this is called current mixing and voltage sampling, or else we can say it is shunt. Yeah, shunt feedback it is. Okay. Next, in detail they have discussed, that is feedback voltage amplifier. It is a series shunt connection. It is series shunt. Series in the sense series at the input side. Voltage are going to be added. Series connection. And here this is a shunt connection. Feedback is connected parallel at the output side. Feedback is connected in series at the input side, and this is the equivalent circuit. Equivalent circuit is RIF is the input resistance of the series shunt feedback amplifier, where RI is the input resistance of the open loop amplifier. Okay, you are getting so this is how this is RIF you are going to calculate, and ROF you are going to calculate, and what is the gain of the series shunt feedback amplifier. So that is the next intention. So starting with what is the input voltage, input current, what is the input resistance. Okay, input voltage, input resistance, if we know, we can easily calculate what is the input resistance of the series shunt feedback amplifier. RIF. Next is ROF. ROF you need to provide, that is we have to make the input signal 0, Vs as 0. We need to set Vs as 0, and we have to apply some external voltage Vx. So when we apply the Vx, so what happens, there will be some amount of current flowing here because of that. So what is that amount of current we are going to calculate? That is applying the KVL. You can write the equation, you can obtain what is Ix, and then you can substitute in the ROF formula. You can easily obtain the output resistance formula, that is R naught divided by 1 plus A into beta. Very important. Next is calculating the gain. Gain is also important, AF. Okay. Next is the feedback transconductance amplifier. Transconductance means input is voltage, output is current. Okay, input is voltage, output is current. So it is a series means the feedback network connected in series with the input as well as in series with the output. Okay, here also we are going to calculate what is the input resistance, what is the output resistance. Similarly, there is a in detail explanation of current amplifier as well as trans resistance amplifier. For all these feedback amplifiers, you are going to calculate what is the input resistance, what is the output resistance, what is the gain, and what are the input voltages in terms of what, like whether it is voltage or current. So from this table, if you remember this table, it will be very much easier to remember the 4 different classification of feedback amplifiers. See, whenever I say voltage, input output all in terms of voltages. Whenever I say current, all in terms of current. Whenever I say transconductance, input is in terms of voltage and output is in terms of current. Okay, trans resistance is nothing but input is in terms of current, output is in terms of voltage. Okay, and here the input resistance and the output resistance, how it varies for all the different classification, it differs. Okay, here the input resistance is high, output resistance is low. Input resistance is high, low, output resistance is high here. Here input resistance, output resistance both are high, both are low. Trans resistance. Okay, so next comes the power amplifier. Power amplifier means it is an amplifier with a high power output stage. It is not something as a normal amplifier. With high power applications, we will be making use of the power amplifiers. So with high power output stage, the amplifier which is going to be designed, it is called power amplifiers. Okay, so the here also depending upon the class of operation, which is decided by the location of the Q point or quiescent point on the device characteristic, there are 4 different classifications are there. Class A amplifier, class B, class AB, class C amplifiers. Very important, here we are going to just check which classification amplifier achieves the maximum efficiency. Okay, so 4 different types will be having its own efficiency values that we are going to derive. Efficiency derivations we are going to derive it. 4 different classification, it has been the output, it has been given over here. Class A amplifier. So all these are collector current waveforms for transistor operating in for the transistor operating in class A, class B, class AB and class C amplifier stages. See, before you study all these topics, you need to know what is a Q point, okay, and what is the output voltage waveform. Output voltage waveform, all this, how the Q point it affects the by selecting the Q point, how it affects the output of the amplifier. All these things are very important, so you need to know you need to know before learning all these classification. You need to have an idea of Q point, okay, operating point of the amplifier. So class A is it is biased at a current IC greater than the amplitude of the signal current. Thus, the transistor in class A stage conducts for the entire cycle. See this particular, here we are going to, this is the output waveform. So for the entire cycle of the input, we are going to get the output. That is why full wave it has been given and it is above the ground level. You see here, this is above the ground level. Similarly, class B, there's a half wave rectified, means the half portion we are not going to get, and it is also above the ground level. And class AB, it is like some part of the negative half cycle you are going to get, entire full half cycle and part of the negative half cycle you are going to get. What about class C? Class C, only positive half cycle, that too a portion of positive half cycle you are going to get. Okay, you are going to get. So let us see in detail, and here while explaining you need to mention about like entire cycle you are going to get, what is the output waveform. What is the output waveform? You need to draw the figure waveform for all the different types of classification. Then you need to mention whether you are going to get the entire cycle or half cycle or more than half cycle, all those things, and then the conduction angle. If it is a full cycle, then it is conduction angle is 360 degree. If it is a half cycle, then the conduction angle is 180 degree. If it is more than half cycle, then it is in between 180 and 360. And if it is less than half cycle, less than 180 degree. Okay, all these things you need to explain. And then the comparison table. So you can remember the explanation by remembering this comparison table. So what is the operating cycle and the efficiency? Class A amplifier conduction full cycle we are going to get. So conduction angle is 360 degree and the efficiency we are going to get it as 25% to 50%. Okay, maximum 50% efficiency we are going to obtain. Then in class AB, the conduction angle in between 180 and 360, and the efficiency you are going to get in between 25 to 50, as well as maximum efficiency you are going to get here 78.5. So let us see how we are going to obtain this maximum efficiency. Okay, next is class B. Class B amplifier conduction angle only half wave, so it is 180 degree and the efficiency is 78.5. And then class C amplifier, it is less than half cycle, it is, yeah, only a portion of half cycle it is been we are going to get at the output. So the conduction angle or the operating angle, it is less than 180 degree. So next is the class C output stage. In detail I had explained in the class, just I'll go through this, glance this topic. So two amplifier, this is nothing but a constant current source. So from this the current, it has been supplied, so constant current I is supplied by the transistor Q2 for Q1. Okay, so from there we are going to get the transfer characteristics. So at the negative cycle, that is the V naught, negative half, two different points we are going to get, two different cutoffs we are going to get, that is one at the minus I into RL and one is minus VCC plus VC2 into SAT. Okay, so two minimum output, minimum positions we are going to get, that is in the negative direction. The limit of the linear region is determined, limit of the linear region, that is before entering the cutoff saturation region. What is a linear region? That cutoff, I mean the limit of linear region, it is going to be determined by transistor Q1 turning off and or by Q2 in the saturation. Two different condition, one is either turning off Q1 and next is Q by entering Q2 to saturation. So depending on these values we are getting two different conditions, that is to make to get the limit of the linear region. Okay, next is the signal waveforms in the class A. So this is the output waveform, entire full cycle we are going to get, and negative half, this is again two conditions, and then this is a collector emitter voltage. What is the collector emitter voltage we are going to get, and what is the collector current we are going to get, and next is a power dissipation, VCC into I. VCC into, if you multiply these two, you will be getting this particular waveform. See, here it is I into VCC, VCC into I. Next 2 into I into 0, so it is 0. And this point, it is I into VCC, so it is VCC. Next is 0 into 2 VCC, it will be 0. So you'll be getting the power dissipation, entirely constant power dissipation for this, that is VCC into I. Power dissipation, maximum instantaneous power dissipation in Q1 is VCC into I. So it depends upon the value of RL, load resistance. Okay, next is the power conversion efficiency, which is very important. Power conversion efficiency of an output stage amplifier is nothing but the output power, that is load power divided by the input power. Input power here is supply power. Okay, so you need to calculate these two separately. So what is load power? Load power is nothing but V by V into I, or else V square divided by RL. Okay, so this can be output voltage is V naught divided by root 2, that whole square divided by RL, which is equals to half into V naught square divided by RL. Next you calculate what is the supply power. Supply power is 2 into VCC into I. Next you can substitute these two equations in the efficiency equation. You will be obtaining the efficiency equation as 1 by 4 V naught square divided by IRL into VCC. Into VCC. Then you substitute V naught is equals to VCC into IRL. So what happens here? IRL get cancels, 1 by 4. 1 by 4 means it is 25. 1 by how much you are going to get? I into RL. This will be I into RL. So you'll be getting 1 by 4. 1 by 4 means you'll be getting around 25% you will be getting. So the maximum efficiency available attainable is 25%. Because this is a rather low figure, the class A output stage is rarely used in high power applications, which is greater than 1 watt, I can say. So note also that in practice the output voltage swing is limited to lower values to avoid transistor saturation and associated non-linear distortion. So thus the efficiency achieved in the practice is usually in 10% to 20% range. That is regarding class A. Next again, transformer, if we want 25 to 50%, if I want to achieve more efficiency, then what we are going to do is we are going to couple the transistor at the output side of the amplifier. So this is called transformer coupled class A amplifier. For this we'll be getting the efficiency, efficiency to up to 50% we are going to obtain. Next is class B. Class B output stage amplifier. So two PNP and NPN transistor complementary pair of transistors will be connected in such a way that both cannot conduct simultaneously. At a time either QN conducts or QP conducts. This is what the operation, and here this is very important. That is, what do you mean by crossover distortion? Here, say at a time both the transistor cannot conduct, only one transistor, and that too the conductor conducts whenever it achieves the biasing conditions. So till this point, that is plus 0.5 to minus 0.5. So the cut-in voltage you know already for the transistor or the diode, it is silicon means it is 0.7. So till 0.5, here minus 0.5, the transistor doesn't going to conduct, right? So this is called dead zone region, or else it is nothing but, yeah, this is called dead zone region, or it is called dead band, which results in the crossover distortion. At this band, what happens? Crossover distortion is going to happen. So the effect of crossover distortion will be most pronounced when the amplitude of the input signal is very much small. Give rise to unpleasant sound. So if we use such kind of amplifiers in the audio power amplification purpose, which will give us the unwanted outputs like unpleasant sound, noise signal we are going to get, that is called crossover distortion. So crossover distortion, dead band, in the dead band we are going to get the crossover distortion. And here similar to class A amplifier, power conversion efficiency we are going to calculate, that is output power, load power, and the PS, supply power, you are going to calculate. Then we are going to substitute in the efficiency equation. You will be getting pi by 4 as the answer. Pi by 4 means if you calculate, you will be obtaining 78.5%. This is the maximum efficiency we can achieve in the class B amplifier. Next is power dissipation. Similar to that, you can calculate. Next, class B, here also if we want to achieve more efficiency, then transformer coupled, we can couple the transformer at the output side as well as at the input side of the transformer to achieve the better efficiency. And then calculating the DC power input, that is the input power, and the output power AC power, then calculating the efficiency, you will be getting 78.5%. So the efficiency of class B amplifier is more than 78%, which makes it useful for the radio frequency transmitters. Next is, see how this crossover distortion in the class B amplifier is we can overcome this particular distortion is, that is by using the class AB output stage amplifier. Means here we are going to bias the complementary output transistors. So how it differs from the class B is, the class B also we are making use of complementary transistor, but we were not biasing that. Here initially we will be biasing the transistors by providing some external DC voltages, so that whenever I give the input signal, directly it is going to conduct. It never takes time to conduct, directly it is going to conduct. So that is how we can avoid the crossover distortion in class AB. So this is a solution for crossover distortion. Circuit operation. Similar to that, we are going to calculate here also what is the efficiency, and then class C output stage, only the explanation they are going to ask us. So this is a class C output stage amplifier circuit, and this is a waveform. You need to know it will be the conduction angle is less than 180 degree. Okay, very important, circuit diagram and the waveform. In all the classification, first you need to explain what is the circuit diagram, how it is going to operate, and what is the waveform, output waveform. Output waveform, the thing you need to know is the conduction angle. If it is a class A, conduction angle is full wave, it is 360 degree. If it is class B, then it is half cycle. If it is class AB, more than 180 degree, more than half cycle. Next, if it is class C, conduction angle is less than 180 degree. So this is a revision of module 1. Thank you.